Filming outside comes with its own unique set of challenges, but over the years I've picked up some tips and tricks that have helped me just improve the overall look and quality of my outdoor videography. My first tip is to simply film at the right time. Try to film at golden hour whenever possible. So golden hour is the hour after sunrise and the hour before sunset. At this time, the light is just warmer, softer, and has an overall more flattering look for your subject. You'll find that a lot of movies are filmed during golden hour just because everything looks a lot more cinematic and a lot nicer. The main drawback of trying to film in golden hour is that the window of time is so limited. It really restricts when you're able to film. Just for the sake of practicality, probably most of the YouTube videos that we filmed haven't been during golden hour. It just doesn't always work out that way. The good news is a lot of the other tips and tricks I'm gonna share will help you get better looking footage even if you're not filming during golden hour. My next tip for getting great outdoor footage is to film in manual. Most cameras these days come with a fully automatic shooting mode, and my recommendation is to avoid this. My first couple of years on YouTube, I'm a little embarrassed to say I shot all of that on fully auto. I just didn't simply want to put forth the effort to learn how to shoot on manual, because there definitely is a learning curve, but it's not half as hard as you think. Once you learn just a few basic settings, shooting in manual is very simple. And the major advantage that it gives you when you're filming outside is that you're able to properly expose. So I found, looking back at a lot of my old footage that was shot on auto, that most of it came out not properly exposed. The sky would be just completely blown out, or the shadows would be too dark and you wouldn't be able to see any detail. That's one of the key signatures that you're a beginner videographer, is if you're not getting your exposure exactly right. So if you are going for a more polished look with your footage, definitely try to learn how to shoot on manual. My next tip is to make sure that you're actually able to see what you're filming. What I mean by that is, most cameras have a little screen that flips out. If you're filming outside on a sunny day, it can be really challenging to actually see what is on that screen. So my recommendation there is to simply wear a ball cap or something along these lines, something that just blocks your eyes from a lot of the light coming from the sky, so that you're able to better see what is actually happening on your screen. This is a really simple tip, but I found that just being able to clearly see what I'm filming really helps me be more intentional about, making sure my settings are right, making sure that my framing is the way that I want it. If you don't want to wear a hat, another option is just a little hood, but you just slide this right onto the screen that you have, and it just blocks a lot of that light from hitting it, so you can hopefully see it a little bit better. My next suggestion for shooting outside is to use an ND filter or a neutral density filter. What this does is it gives you another option for controlling the amount of light that's coming into your lens. Another indicator that you're a beginner in videography is when everything is in focus all of the time. You'll find that in movies and TV shows, a lot of times there's that blurry bokeh effect in the background, making the subject stand out from the background and thus helping control the focus of your audience. If you want to achieve a similar look for your camera, and especially for filming outside where there's a whole lot of natural light, an ND filter is what's going to help you achieve this. So if you want to keep your aperture as low as possible to get that blurry background, you can use the ND filter to limit the amount of light coming into your lens and achieve that. Additionally, if you just want to shoot at that lower 24 frames per second and not have to boost that up to say 60 or something just because of all the light, having an ND filter is also good for that. My recommendation too, just for convenience sake, is to get a variable neutral density filter, which basically just means there's a ring around the edge of it and you can twist it, and that will adjust the level of brightness that's coming into your camera. The filter I found on Amazon was surprisingly cheap, so I'll find that one and link it down in the description if you want to see what I use. Another way that you can significantly improve the quality of your footage outside is to be very intentional about where you put your light source. So your light source outside, unless you're shooting at nighttime, is the sun. When I first started filming videos outside, I didn't realize what to do with all of that natural sunlight. So a lot of times my subject would end up just facing the sun. And what that means is there would be a whole lot of sunlight just hitting them directly from the front. What you'll find is that if you watch any movie or any TV show, in just about every single frame, the subject is backlit. This can be a little counterintuitive for whatever reason when you're first getting started, because you think, I want them to be well lit. I don't want any weird shadows or whatnot. But backlighting your subject adds a whole lot of depth to the image, and it can make the viewers of the content have a greater sense of presence and feel like they're actually there. So when it comes to exactly where you put the sun, usually you want it off to the left or right, and then up above the subject out of frame. Another useful tool in your arsenal when filming outside is utilizing shade. So if it's the middle of the day and the sun is beating down, creating a lot of harsh light that you don't want on your subject's face, if there's a large amount of shade that you can take advantage of to film in, sometimes that can look better than just trying to make it work standing out in the full sun. My recommendation is to find a larger amount of shade. If just your subject is shaded and then all of their background is in full sunlight, it's gonna be really hard to expose that without blowing out your background. So if you find a larger patch of shade, you can put your subject in it, try to capture potentially some of that shaded background in your image as well. But that can be one good way to avoid all that harsh afternoon sunlight that you often find yourself shooting in. This next tip is one that does require a little bit more preparation, but can have really nice results if you do use it. And that would just be using diffusion on your subject. Rigging a large enough patch of diffusion above your subject outside is a challenge and it is a hassle. And that's why I haven't really ever done this. It's just not convenient, especially with horses and moving around constantly, which is what I find myself doing with our other channel. But that being said, if you are just looking for another option to make your subject look nicer, maybe you're doing an outside commercial or something, then you can invest in some diffusion, get it rigged up above your subject, and that'll just make the light a lot softer on your subject's faces. You won't get those harsh shadows, and it'll just be more flattering for them overall. So far, all of these tips have been about the lighting and the image, but there is one really important quality, and that is audio. So when I first started filming outside, one of the banes of my existence was wind. The wind would blow and you would get that terrible whooshing sound in your audio that would make it oftentimes completely unusable. The easy fix for this is to start using a dead cat. So a dead cat is just a fuzzy little piece of synthetic fiber usually that you can put onto your microphone. And what it does is it just keeps the wind from going directly to the mic and causing that really bad whooshing sound. And for whatever type of microphone you're using, these are really cheap. And the amount of quality that they add for the amount that they actually cost is incredibly worth it, so definitely get some of these. As far as a microphone solution, we've been using the Rode Wireless Go 2. I know that the quality isn't the best in the world for these, but they've honestly gotten the job done really well for us. I like the Wireless Go 2 just because you're able to record with 2 people, so if both my wife and I are in a video, it just makes that really simple. And 2, if you're trying to use a shotgun mic just on the top of your camera, you have to be relatively close to your subject in order to pick them up sufficiently. So just using something like this means we can be far away from the camera but still be capturing that good audio. I've got links in the description of all the different equipment that I'm currently using to film outside, so be sure to go check that out. I definitely haven't mastered videography. There's a lot that I'm still learning. So if there's a tip that I didn't share about filming outside, feel free to leave that down in the comments so that I can check it out and others can check it out. If you took anything useful from this video, please give me a thumbs up so that it goes out to more people. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.